So I was working with a kid, and a good question that I thought would be worth chatting about for anyone that is curious if you have something that you need to perform in. So typically, or I'm going to preface it from a physical activity perspective, just because this kid plays sports. So he came in, he was like, "Hey, like I got a lot to do today, and I know I need to eat, and what should I eat before my before I have to play?" And I said, "Well, what are you doing currently?" And so he gave me the rundown. It was, I would have a sandwich with this and that and this and that and some fruit. And I went, "Cool. Does that work for you? How do you like that?" "Oh, like, feel good, feel okay. I'm just curious if there's anything else or anything better that I could do." So it's taken a long time. Like, I'm not a nutritionist. I lean on a network for up to date nutrition research, up to date application in nutrition. I've tried a ton of stuff for myself just because I'm curious. So I have played with a mostly animal-based diet. I haven't done vegan stuff, but a vegetarian dominant diet. And I have found that food is not good, it's not bad, it is, and figuring out how to use it is probably the biggest value and bang for our buck. So you look at anything right now, Instagram, YouTube, this is terrible for you. This is the best food ever. This is terrible for you. You couldn't live without it. Like, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess because we're missing the foundation, and the foundation is food is. If you eat McDonald's once in your life, is that a bad, are you going to be unhealthy because of that? No, we're going to go to extremes just to make a point. If you ate at McDonald's every day, would you have health problems from that? Probably. Good chance. Very good chance. So if we're talking and again, like fast food, that's an obvious one, but there's a lot of stuff out there that eat it. Just eat less of it and have more of this. And that's kind of where I'm at right now when it comes to just thinking about food and nutrition. One, you have to like what you eat. You need to enjoy eating. It's very important for us. You need to eat metabolically stimulating foods. So if you feel really cold after you eat, something to consider. If you feel really warm after you eat, something to consider. Are you low on energy, wanting to take a nap after your meal? Are you energized and ready to go? There's a lot of different factors that come into this, and it's not that simple. If you're finding places that are saying it's this simple, that's a business model. Everyone needs to make a living. So let me position myself and attract the people that agree with me. I'm not looking for that. I want to be able to help anyone and everyone. So my opinion is not a gospel. It is not dogmatic. I don't say don't ever eat something like that, or don't ever have this, or only have that. I think we need to avoid dogma. That I learned that with it's called Sustenance and Spirit and Z Health, and that was kind of the spark of understanding more of the ebbs and flows. You're not going to have the same diet the rest of your life. There's actually a new eating disorder out, if you didn't know. It's called orthorexia. Orthorexia is I'm unhealthy because I'm on the pursuit of the perfect diet. So I actually have removed so many things because I've been told this, told that, whatever, that now I'm actually not getting enough stuff, and it's impacting my ability to do things. So orthorexia is the new rexia out there, and it is I eat things and I think I eat perfectly. And you actually end up with problems because there is no perfect. So this kid, I eat a sandwich, turkey sandwich with some veg or some pickles, mayo, mustard, bowl of fruit. I went, great. What are the benefits of bread? He goes, energy? Well, yeah, it's a carbohydrate. That's how we get our energy. So carbohydrates are our primary source for fuel. If you don't have much on hand, don't worry. Your brain does not discriminate. It will take anything you are and convert it to glucose. So carbohydrates get broken down into glucose. you don't have a lot of carbohydrates on hand and your brain is not looking to pull from your muscle storage and glycogen, it has already ultimately. So I'm just low on fuel. I've pulled out of the glycogen storage. That's our stored energy for later. Fat is just carbs and stuff that wasn't, or just nutrients that weren't used for energy at that time. So carbs get stored as fat, but they don't get pulled that easily. So if we get low on carbohydrates and we still keep going, our brain goes, all right, I'll just start taking fat, turn it to glucose. Let's say we are super low on carbohydrates and super low on fat. It starts taking muscle. It will literally take muscle and turn it into glucose for, again, brain fuel. Like that, if your brain dies, you don't get anything else. You can live without an arm. You can live without part of an organ. You can live with a lot of things removed from the body. You start removing things from the brain and then things get hairy real fast. So the primary thing that needs to be fed is right there. It is our brain, and it needs glucose. The other aspects of kind of simple goals with nutrition is one, metabolically stimulating food. So food that breaks down and is used for energy really, really well. And the other is gut bacteria, gut health. The gut biome, we don't know a lot about. Trillions of little organisms and things in there. We don't know what a lot of them do. But we do know that it matters and it is a part of who you are. And if it's an unhealthy gut bacteria, you become an unhealthy person. You think negatively. You have impulsive reactions to things, anger, irritation, short with people, like whatever it might be, like think a negative. And that could be partially what's going on in the gut. So I'm like, great. What else does bread give you? He's like, and that's kind of where he ran out. He's a high schooler. I'm impressed that he knew it was carbohydrate. And I went, are there nutrients? He goes, yeah, there's going to be nutrients in there. I was like, right. They add some things into there. So you're getting some nutrient value. You're getting carbohydrates. What else are you getting? He goes, I don't know. I went, so those are good things. There are good and bads to pretty much everything. It's a matter of how much am I eating? How am I preparing it? How often am I eating it? So frequency, quantity, and quality really are the driving forces for it. So he goes, I don't know. Well, did you know that wheat in our country, bread in our country is different than bread around the world? He goes, what? No. Right. It's really interesting. Like if you were to live in Italy, you'd get healthier, eating the same stuff that you would do here. People from Italy will come here and get unhealthy, eating the same stuff that they did back home. What's the difference? Ours is not about human health. Plain and simple. It is about profit. It's something about making money. It is about businesses, and that's what our country is. That's what also makes it amazing. America is. We determine, is it good or bad? So that's hey, you can make a lot of money in this country. You can start new businesses. You can do a lot of things. Unfortunately, there are some places that we do need to draw some lines, like human health. Let's not make human health a profit-driven market. Like human health is important. We should just take care of it because it's important. And you'll make more money with healthy people around you anyway. The education, it should not be around making money, driving test scores, administrators having email jobs, and teachers not getting enough to live on, whatever it might be. That's a business part. Food is no different. Nutrition is no different. So what we did was said, if we change the structure of our wheat, we'll be able to get more faster. So without thought, when that makes sense, we will make a lot more money on our wheat. Fast forward, we're now dealing with a lot of health issues because of our modified food. So I went, did you know that our country doesn't feed our population like other countries feed their populations? And he goes, no, I had no idea. And he goes, that's so frustrating and irritating. I know, like it really is. Like you expect that if it says it's good for you or healthy for you, you would like that to be true. That's another business model. You can name anything as long as you put a little trademark or a branding next to it. You can say it's the most super healthy food known to man. Trademark. It doesn't have to be true. It's just a business statement. It's a business. That's what it is. So we started there, and he goes, "Man, that really sucks." And I know, like it really does. You actually have to go. You have to work to make sure that your food is healthy for you. You can't just play it by ear. You have to plan. You have to buy the right things. You have to cook. We have to go back. Like you can't really expect to go out to eat and getting great quality, the right amount, and obviously frequency is on you. You can go to that restaurant once a month, probably be a lot better. But as we add our timelines together, it's like, oh wow, I didn't think that I was eating that much of it. But we don't really think about like, what did you eat last Tuesday? It's a tough question to answer for a lot of people. What did you eat yesterday for breakfast or lunch? So that was the first part of the conversation, and then I went, so there's positives and negatives. What are the negatives of our bread? And I'll say our bread because our country it's not great. And he goes, oh, I don't know. And I went, how did we try and ask questions so like they can kind of get to it instead of me, like I've said it enough with enough people just kind of not using it at all. So it's like it needs to be more guided. We need to find what's more important for them, because I could vomit out, eat this, eat that, eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that, eat that. There's a general blanket statement for you, and people still go, oh great, and then they just go back to what they were doing. So I don't remember, but it led to inflammation. And I went, hey, what do you know about inflammation? Oh, that was it. I was like, what do you know about inflammation? He goes, oh, it's bad. Like we don't want it. We want to get rid of it as quickly as you can. And I went, it's another kind of is Inflammation is part healing. If it sticks around too long, it can definitely be part damaging. Like if it accumulates, we start getting problems in our tissue, whatever. And I went, did you know that our grains can create more inflammation in your gut? He goes, nope, I didn't know that. When it's a possibility. Again, nothing is ever one way. If you have a super healthy gut, you should be able to pretty much eat whatever you want within reason. If you don't, for like me, I had to go through kind of phases, and I didn't plan those phases out. It was just kind of like, I need to stop the bleeding. I need to start building some things back up to the point where now 10 years later, I have a gut that I can eat anything and everything I want within reason, without a lot of negatives that I would get a lot of negatives from the things that I ate in the past. So I went, increases inflammation. What else increases inflammation? He goes, playing sports. I went, yeah, like we're every time we're working with ourselves, we're challenging ourselves. Inflammation's a byproduct of that. And we're supposed to be able to cycle through it and get rid of it. Breathing, movement, muscle contraction, all that kind of stuff helps. But you also have to have great breathing, great movement, and great muscle contraction for that to work. And most people just habitually do what they learned once. But this is much more an ongoing process of continual development, thinking about how you can improve even things that you feel like you are amazing at. It really is a get better mindset. If you have a stay good, that's hard. Stay good. Good at what? How long? Like, what keeps you good? What are the behaviors? Like, I like the be better, because it just kind of drives my thinking forward. All right, be better than what I know now. Great, let me continue to pursue education and knowledge. So I said, so if you're exercising and you're eating, you're creating inflammation, and you are eating and creating inflammation, what do you think your brain's going to choose to like work on and get back to a better place? And he was like, probably your gut. I went, right. So do you deal with soreness, long-term soreness, just feeling like, oh, my body's just kind of fighting me after I do things? He's going, I already knew the answer, because he was like, I feel so beat up. from what I did yesterday. And he goes, oh yeah, like I definitely deal with that. I went, you're making your brain choose potentially. And he goes, huh. And I go, what else? What else is there a part of bread? And he goes, again, we were like, he had told me what he knew. I went, do you ever feel like kind of tired, lethargic, just not thinking very sharp after some of the meals that have bread in them? And he's like, actually, yeah. Like I sometimes feel like I kind of I'm sleepy or want to take a nap. Well, it could be. The other aspect that the grains that we have kind of create this brain fog. And it can lead to you just being a little less sharp or a little bit more prone to that nap. So now we know bread. And I'm not telling you don't eat your sandwich. But if you're curious, we just need to be a scientist about it. Try something else. Be aware of the differences. Try it long enough to know if it's just a novelty new thing, which is absolutely possible. A lot of people get stuck with things that are bad long-term, but were a novel short-term positive. You just have awareness is a lot of everything. So we said, okay, what could you replace it with? We said we want a carbohydrate. We want some nutrients from that carbohydrate. We would love to have a little less inflammation and a little less brain fog. So I'd like to recover faster from the things that I'm doing. And I don't want my brain and my body to have to work extra hard for the breads and the grains that we have in our country. And he's smart. He's like, rice. Yeah, rice is a carbohydrate. White rice, a little easier to digest than brown rice because of the brown husk on it can be a little bit harder for some guts. And he's like, potatoes, starches, you got them. Like, starches are carbohydrates. Did you know potatoes have protein? He goes, yeah. I had no idea. Had no idea when I was your age. Took no idea in my 20s. But you probably could have researched it. Weird. But so we said, all right, rice, potatoes. What else is a carbohydrate? And he's like, and this one took him a while. He's like, not sure. I went, what did he told me what he had for breakfast today. It was a fruit smoothie with a lot of protein and some good fats and stuff like that, and some not good fats, but it's a process. I'm not going to just dump on somebody and say, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work long term, and it doesn't make anyone feel good. So it's a process. Let's work on things over time. Let's improve things over time. Let's have more of that, less of this, so on and so forth. So he's like, oh, fruit. I went, yeah, absolutely. That's why I ask you to have fruit or fruit juice in our sessions so that we can give your brain fast-acting liquid carbohydrate. And fruit is one of the easiest things to break down into glucose so that your brain can use it. So fruit, phenomenal. And the last one I had to give to him, and it was vegetables. And again, everything is good and bad. It's just a matter of how much, the quality, and how often. So now we know carbohydrates. Give me some meal ideas. You're going to play this afternoon. What comes to mind? He goes, burrito bowl. I went, sweet. You got the cilantro lime white rice. You can throw, and then you just kind of rattled off the things he liked and went, it's worth a shot. Like a lot of the same stuff, protein, vegetables that you had in your sandwich. We're just focusing on replacing one thing, and that's the carbohydrate source. And give your bowl a shot. So we'll wait to find out and see what happens. And again, it's being open. Like, I think we're so easy to jump into a ship and say, this is it, vegan, vegetarian, carnivore. They are. And you might find that using one can help you for a certain amount of time, and then you can shift to another one, and that might help you for a certain amount of time. I remember back, there's a woman, it was on a podcast. This woman had brutal problems, like broken ankles, reconstructions, like pain, chronic pain, just brutal stuff. go on with her body and just stuff failing. And the only thing that she could find was like meat. Meat was the only thing that didn't piss her system off. So she went meat for a long period of time. And I'll tell my little story about and how interesting it is. So she went for a long period of time. Ultimately, a long-term elimination diet. If you don't know what elimination diets are, they're pretty much just try and take away any type of fluff in your diet, get you to a bare minimum, bare bone, and then start adding things back to see how is the response for you. I know, or I've learned how to test, and that's a really unique. I've never learned it or heard about it anywhere else. But checking your temperature and your heart rate. So you check your temp and heart rate before you eat. Just jot down what you got. I use a temp IR skin reader, and I just count for 30 seconds on the feel. So I don't do the whole minute test, but again, I just save some time, see if I can get there. I've tested a lot of the foundational things that I like to eat a lot. And if your blood pressure or if your heart rate and temperature go up, metabolically stimulating food. If temperature goes up, heart rate goes down, kind of a more of a stress response, cortisol releasing food, both going down, not what we're looking for. And then the other one, I think both up if you can. I can pull some research or pull some information at some other point. I'll do something that's a little bit bigger around food and prepare a little bit. So this is more nice. I just worked with a kid and that came up. Let's talk about it. So I tested, but the elimination diet is just removing things and adding things back in. So she said, hey, I was feeling great on this carnivore diet, pretty much protein and salt. That was it. Just every meal of the day, every day for a long time. Then she reintroduced avocado. Not just avocado, but like a lot of it. And she just crashed and said, oh, avocado's terrible for me. I did that with dairy. I heard that we aren't supposed to drink milk. We're the only species that drinks other species' milk. Everyone is lactose intolerant. I heard a lot. And I went, let me try. Like at the end of the day, thank you. I can try anything and everything for myself. So I removed dairy. I removed it for ultimately a year. I removed bread for a year and dairy for a year. Bread was a Saturday roll with my salad and ribs. That was the amount of bread I had in a week, and no dairy. Stayed away from the cheese. Nope. I had cheese. Stayed away from milk, and like ice cream and stuff like that. And I ultimately eliminated it, and I was very good on just pursuing this. It was kind of the first stuff I had learned from. I was a quantity person. I had heard from other soccer players that we play sports, you can eat whatever you want. And I was also very picky when I was younger. I can go into the neurology around that at some time. There's a reason kids are picky, and it's very, very interesting to help them get over it. I've seen it a couple times of just, here's a soccer trip, kid that won't eat team breakfast, sit him down next to me and just start real small and watch that kid just slam food by the end of the breakfast. But again, sometimes the barrier for brains is it needs to be very, 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 very little, or it just puts up the wall and goes, no, 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 over and over and over again, even though you know we can't live on McDonald's the rest of your life or some sort of terrible or poor nutrient value food forever, even though I think that's actually a disorder now. They labeled it, meaning, wait, of course a kid wants McDonald's. They spent millions of dollars to make sure that everyone wants McDonald's. That's a business model. They have done so much research and development on every component of that menu with a sole purpose of you buying more of it. So it's addictive. Like, it's not real food as it was if you had to cook it. If you had to make your own bread, kill your own cow, do all that to make your burger, it's not going to affect you near the same. So I eliminated the dairy. I finished my year. That was the goal, and I went, okay, I am so tired of water in my protein shake. So I just had my protein shake, like with the same quantity of liquid, put it into milk, and whoo, out the other end. Went, I'm lactose intolerant. And I kept that for a long time. Went, yep, no dairy, telling everybody, don't ever, anybody that wants to listen, dairy's not good for us. We're the only ones that drink it after adolescence. We're the only ones that drink another species. Not good. And I have felt it. I took it out, added it back in, and whoosh, it was out my system quick. What I didn't realize is that our gut bacteria adapts to what we do. It adapts to what we eat. So if you eliminate something for a long period of time and you no longer have the things to break that down, some of those trillion bacteria were milk breakdown bacteria. And others are X bacteria, whatever it is. So I just thought, oh yeah, no, I didn't have anything to break that down. So then I learned more of a central approach to nutrition, less dogmatic, less don't eat that only, etc. And I went, I labeled myself lactose intolerant after cutting all dairy, all milk, a little bit of cheese in there still, and then just going right back to a 12-ounce protein shake with milk. So this woman ate slammed avocados. I loved avocados before I dealt with this thing, and she just slammed them and had a massive negative effect to lead her to go, oh, protein and salt it is, that's it. Obviously I can't. I would be so curious if she shaved off the littlest bit of avocado and ate it, like I did milk. I was in San Diego, they sell raw milk. In Oregon, it's illegal. Smart, real smart people, eliminating a pretty darn powerful, healthy food for a lot of people. Another story. But I found raw milk. I went, I would love to get milk in my diet. I just demonized it, eliminated it, and then added a lot and just shocked the heck out of my system and just said, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. So I started with a half a shot glass before bed, because if I had an adverse reaction, I'd rather just deal with it while I slept than go to work and go, let me hit the restroom. And I felt my stomach go, whoop. I went, whoof. And I went to bed. Woke up, went, no problem. Was fine that day, that night. I went, I did get that little whoop in my stomach, so I'm just going to do that half shot again. Half shot, whole shot, 2 shots, and I built it back up to where I can drink as much milk as I want, and I have great response to it. But if you try and go all or nothing, it shocks the system. Again, we have so much gut bacteria that we don't know anything about, but in my experience, it was that stuff needs to get built up. And what we put in it is what we adapt to. So along that line, I kind of went, okay, I'm going to add milk back in, and then I just kind of kept that for a while. And I went, what else would I like to add back in? And it was wild. I hadn't had pizza for a year. There was a great pizza spot at the turn, go figure, to where I went to work. And I just passed it every day. I was like, man, that pizza's good, but I don't eat that. I don't eat that bread. And one day I went, it's been over a year. I'm going to have a piece of pizza. If you wait long enough and you don't eat something, you stop craving it. So even though I would see the pizza place initially after cutting stuff like that and go, ooh, that sounds good. Nope. It eventually got to just, this isn't even on my radar. But I went, man, if I'm going to introduce something again, I would love to have a slice of pizza. Had the slice, delicious, so good. What was crazy was the next time I got hungry, I craved pizza. I hadn't had it in over a year. I hadn't had a craving for pizza in a long, long, long time. But I ate it once, and all I wanted was another slice the next time I was hungry. I thought that was really interesting. Like, it's, I don't know, like it was just like, really? I ate that. The other thing I already introduced, at that time, my metabolics were terrible. I would tank all day. I would need naps. I'd feel terrible from the food I ate, feel tired, just got to ramp myself up. I slammed a lot of coffee, a lot of caffeine, and one of the caffeines that I would drink was a Red Bull. And I just again eliminated it. Went, let me explore 5 hour energy, coffee, less of the garbage ingredients. And the first time I had a Red Bull, I tasted it. I couldn't even taste Red Bull as I remembered it. All I tasted was this just liquid concoction of chemical. I thought that was also very wild in a nutritional exploration. So there's a little bit about food. Food is, had a kid come in, say, I'm interested if I can do anything bit better. We looked at what he was eating currently, said, well, you need to like what you eat, and he loves burrito bowls, and we went, hey, let's explore. Maybe less bread in your diet, a little bit more white rice. Let's just see what happens, because he's conscious about his look and his weight and everything of the sort. He's a high schooler. So if he's leaner, I think he'll probably be happier, because that's part of what he wants, is to maintain that and keep looking better and higher level athletics and so on and so forth. So there's a little bit of the story, but the foundation of it, and we'll talk, I think this is probably the way I'll like to talk about food, because just to give the nutrition dump out of my mind might be helpful, might be useful, but enough people ask about it too, and it makes it more unique and client driven versus me just talking at you. But the nuts and bolts, food is, we determine its value. We can determine if it's a low quality food, we can make it really bad for us. If it's a low quality food and we eat it very, very infrequently, think of it like a treat. It's not going to rip us apart. It's not going to derail us unless it now that triggers you to change your food back to something that's not great. But generally, that's what the conversation is improve the quality, be aware of the quantity. How much of it if you haven't ate avocados in 5 years, don't go for a full avocado. Don't slam a whole thing of chips and guac. Start with a bite. Let your digestive system rebuild what it takes to break down foods. It's important. And then the frequency. How often? How often are you eating that? I love this food and it's terrible for me, so I never eat it. Is there a way that you can wrap your head around using that as a treat once in a while, so that you aren't just suffering every time that you eat? I think that that's worse than eating poorly and loving it. The amount of stress we put on what we eat, look at social media. It's exhausting. Eat this, don't eat that. Eat that, that guy's an idiot. Eat that. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You're just going to find what you already believe and go, that's true. Where this is a little bit different in that we're respecting that what we do with it, our behavior around it, is really what determines its value. So have fun with it. Be aware of how often you're eating it. Be aware of the quality of it. Be aware of the quantity of it. And be aware of how you feel about it. Love what you eat. Enjoy what you eat. It goes a long way.